Good afternoon. The Jefferson County Post is here with Director of Schools, Dr. Tommy Arnold, and we're going to get to some tips and some new school year things that are coming up. As you know, that week has come finally. And before that, though, we're going to thank our sponsors for this video. Dr. Warren Stinson, he's at 113 East Broadway Boulevard in Jefferson City, and he is available for all of your dental needs. And Good Old Boys Golf Carts, Sales, Service, and Rental at 434 Tennessee 92. Check out their website, Facebook page, and TikTok, and you can get straight to it from both of those sponsors from the Jefferson County Post. And we're welcoming Dr. Tommy Arnold. So the week is here.
It is.
It is. So this is tomorrow is just a kind of a brief day, right?
Yeah, so buses will come in, drop kids off, wait around, and buses will dismiss at 9 a.m. So we will provide breakfast tomorrow, so that's an opportunity.
And then for car riders, what's that situation for car riders? When do they need to be there?
So pretty much until about 11 a.m. they can come in and get their stuff and meet teachers, see their classrooms, feel welcome within the building. After that, if they can't come till the afternoon, we can't promise that teachers will be in there, but somebody will be at the front door to help them answer any questions they may have.
And just to be clear, that's for Wednesday only. Now Thursday school starts in earnest, correct?
Yes. So.
And that's at 80. What?
All schools start 8 a.m. I always say if you're there on time, you're late. So plan for traffic to be heavy in school drop-off lines. So need to arrive at least 15 minutes prior to the start of school, and of course our buses will be trying to get on schedule for the next week or two, so that time may vary. You can always call the transportation department. Mr. Overton says the phones are ringing off the hook. There's 2 or 3 of them over there right now trying to return calls.
I would think that is a busy time for them. And then the high school students, if you have a new driver who's going to be wanting to drive to school, let's say they're in sports or something and they need transportation, their own transportation, what does that look like? Do they already have those parking passes? If they don't, how do they acquire a parking pass? Do they need to check with the high school the office at the high school? What needs to happen?
Right, the high school at the office. So they sold those in the spring before year ended, but new students coming in or students who now have a vehicle and need a spot, they need to see Jennifer Moore or Miss Diane at the front desk, and they will direct them in what they need to do. They need to bring in some information for their vehicle, and then they'll issue them a tag for parking.
Great. So that would be a good thing to do tomorrow, to take care of tomorrow.
Yes.
Then. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So if you have a new driver, send them at the high school. You need to send them to the office if they don't already have their parking passes. So tomorrow is a staggered day, but then the next day you start school in earnest. Teachers have been back for a little while.
Yes.
Principals and their staffs have been back quite a while.
About 2 weeks, and so principals, other staff come back about 3 weeks before the start of school. Teachers a week before the start of school. And tomorrow, a half day. Many people wonder why we go that partial day. 4 years ago we were here starting the first full day of school, and we had horrendous storms. We had to do dismissal. We didn't know where everybody lived, so we didn't have a lot of information. So we had 25 roads closed in the county, and we don't want to go through that again. So this gives us time to get information from parents, make sure that children are registered, make sure that we have the correct information, and get it started. Well,
this is not a new, it's new for all students, but kindergarten children always do this, correct, in Jefferson County?
Yeah, kindergarten students are on a 10-day staggered enrollment. So they don't come all 10 of those days. They come maybe in a third of the students or half the students. They come certain days for testing, and then they start the 11th day full time for kindergarten.
So you've got some transition years here. So of course kindergarten's your first year, and you're going to have a lot of really nervous parents with kindergartners coming in. And then you have sixth grade, which is another transition year into middle school. Then you have the freshman academy, and then they transition in 10th grade to the high school, which is not such a big move. It's they've been in the high school quite a bit by the time they hit that 10th grade year. But what do those parents with children in those transition years need to know as far as helping their kids transition into those school years?
Sure. You know, if it starts this year, then, you know, kindergarten, come with them, start, you know, we should have started a week ago, getting them in the school mode, start waking them up a little bit earlier, putting them to bed on time, having a discussion to them about, you know, we sit down at the dinner table or sit down to eat. Now, next week you're going to be eating with maybe 100 or 50 or 150 other people in the big cafeteria setting. You know, let them know it's safe to ask their teachers questions or tell them their wants or needs. So having conversations with small children is important. There again, sixth graders also struggle with that transition to middle school. My own son is going to middle school this year, and he's asking a lot of questions. All of our, Maury and Jefferson both do in the spring, they do an open house night for incoming sixth grade students. So they have it set up, very informational. Students get to walk to school, meet people, learn about clubs, sports, academics, offerings at the schools. So that was very good environment. Also, at the start of this year, every school will have an open house period. So get there with your child and walk around and experiment or experience that school environment with them.
And of course, Rush Strong and White Pine are unique in that they really don't have a transition in those years. I mean, there's a different hallway, I think, or section of the building, but it's not like going to a whole new school.
That's correct.
But those Maury and Jefferson students, those people coming to those schools.
In the spring, we do have a link dance where 8th graders can come to the freshman academy. A dance type setting is put on for those students to mingle and interact from the four corners of the county, so that White Pine, Rush Strong, Jefferson, Maury students can be at the Patriot Academy where they will be attending next year and have a social environment to as their first transition period there.
I know many years ago when my son was in high school, he was a link, I guess, counselor.
Yes.
And those are your seniors who are kind of helping bridge those gaps with the people who are coming in. And that is a unique thing also for Rush Strong and White Pine, is that the 9th grade academy is their first transition. So you do have to be cognizant of the fact that the Maury and Jefferson students have already transitioned once. Yes. Those kids are their first transition. So it can be a little bit of a stressful time, so parents kind of need to be aware of
it. Is.
Of that.
It is stressful. Whether they say it or not, you know, you can see it the first days they walk in. The uncertainty, the nervousness, so it is a stressful time for them.
So also our seniors, this is a unique thing for seniors because this is their last kind of hurrah.
Yes.
But there's a lot of planning that goes in your senior year to what happens after your senior year. So I guess seniors need to be in touch with their guidance counselors, is that correct? For a little help and assistance?
Yes. So we now have, through Niswonger, Bella Webb is going to be at the high school serving as like a career coach.
Okay.
Maddie Denton is a new hire in that program for career coach to help seniors gain their pathway into college, career, or whatever that may be. We're really looking forward to those two who just went through the process and understand the college pathway or the career pathway or technical pathway. They can help students to gain that knowledge and understand.
I know that in, of course, with college, the ACT is taken in their junior year, correct? Offered at the high school in their
Yes.
junior year. So they've already got scores back from that, and if you're college bound, you're already looking at where you're going and where money is, and are you going to use your state funded money or,
Right.
or what you're going to do. And I also know that on the CTE end, several of the students at Jefferson County High School graduate with some of their certification testing already done. That's correct, right?
Yes, oh, lots of certifications. Just found out the other day, talked to a student who graduated last year and has a certification. They went to work for the mines, and due to some certifications they had, they automatically got bumped $12 an hour on their starting pay. So the mines pays pretty good, so that was a big jump in pay due to their college or their work at the high school.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, Jefferson County does real well with trying to provide opportunities for everybody, getting them ready to go on out to something else later. And that is something that's really increased over the last decade, I would
Yes.
think. So let's talk about some of the new things that are happening this year. One has been really a point of interest for parents. And there is some confusion about the new extended recess and what that means.
Yes.
For, of course, K through 5 already has a recess, and the recess is what, 35 minutes?
30 minutes.
30
Yes.
minutes, okay. And so Tennessee says that they have to have 45 minutes a day, Tennessee code. That came through the state legislature, right?
Yeah, 40 minutes a day. So it's an additional 10 minutes added to the recess time. And that doesn't sound like a big deal, but we like to deal on 30-minute increments within the school. So we start at 8, we end at 3, 30 minutes works great in there. We have a 30-minute lunch period. So we're all about kids having recess, and it is important. So that additional 10 minutes a day, we're happy to add it in there. It is impacting some things of scheduling, just because it's hard to meet the needs of some of the students within our building. So, 45 minutes of special area for students where they go to library, PE, music, art, and then 40 minutes of recess, 30 minutes of lunch. Several of our students have pullouts such as tutoring or speech or special ed services, ESL services that also cut into their tier 1 or their classroom instruction. So it's difficult sometimes to fit everything into the day. So we're really crunched on time. We also have requirements of so much ELA time, English language arts, or math time that we have to fit in a day also.
And I don't know if they still do this or not, but when my son was in school, he actually had you, because you've done your time
Yes.
as an elementary school teacher.
Yes.
And you were very familiar with the elementary school programs,
Right.
as well as all the other ones, but that was where you cut your
Yeah.
teeth, so to speak. And then 5th grade changed classes for, do they still do that as a kind of a precursor to middle school?
Yeah, so we've actually bumped that down. 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade has changed classes. 4th and 5th grade do change classes currently. So we try to keep that to kind of like a English language arts, social studies, math, science, so that they only have one change a day. So it's not as middle school or high school where they're changing every 60 or 90 minutes.
But I would think working an extra 10 minutes in becomes more difficult when
It
you have
does.
those kind of
It
schedules.
does. You have
yes.
to cut something
Yeah.
because we're going all day and teaching and learning. So 10 minutes additional time does cut into something.
So let's talk about the middle school and high school. So the public consensus from this legislation was that there was a required 90 minutes of, quote, recess that could not be used as their PE time in middle school and high school, which is not something that's typical to middle school and high school. That 90 minutes was a week,
Right.
supposedly.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Yeah, so that was the first that came out, and 6 through 12 in this district's not included in the recess law that only affects elementary students. So high school students can still get their participation in that 90-minute period through PE classes, certain things that's done within a class, within class change, those types of things are included in that 90 minutes of time.
So parents don't have to worry about their middle schoolers or their high school students being roaming the halls free for 90 minutes. That is not going to happen.
No, that's correct. Nor are we taking sophomores and juniors out to recess. So that's not going to happen either.
I know that there were some safety concerns with parents on
Sure.
if that was the case, because that is a lot of monitoring that would be very difficult to do.
Yes.
I know you have during class changes, you have hall monitoring that you do, and there's an established protocol for that. But this would be very different.
Right.
It would look very
Our
different.
PE classes in middle school and in high school take students to the track, football field. They do things within their PE classes. At the high school, we have tennis courts, pickleball that they do. So there's a lot of activity going on.
Right, and then they also have class change, which they have, what, 7 minutes or something like that?
Yeah,
between classes?
I was just there today and traveled from pod 1, upper pod 1 to lower pod 3, and then back to the office. And yeah, it is quite a workout for an older fat guy, so that's for sure.
It is a distance.
Yeah.
I can remember going to Jefferson County High School, and if you had to go to Building 8 for something, it was a trek.
Yes.
And you were going. So let's talk about, so we don't have to worry about that then. There's not going to be that extended 90 minutes a week where your students are just going to be roaming free.
Correct.
That's not going to happen. So another new thing is we've done it before, but now is free lunch and free breakfast, and that's for every student. Is that correct?
Every student, free lunch, free breakfast. So it is a great thing. That is funded by increased participation. So we set out and took a leap of faith that if we offer free breakfast, free lunch, more people will eat. It will increase our participation, it will increase our reimbursements, and we will be able to fund this program. So, we really need students to go through the lunch and breakfast line and to eat some of our wonderful food that we serve. So basically you have to go through and get a reimbursable meal. You can't just go in and get a milk and that be free. So you have to get 3 items: a milk, an entree, and a fruit or vegetable. So if it was chicken sandwich day and you went through the line and got your milk, chicken sandwich, and an apple, then that's a reimbursable meal, and we will give you that for free.
And that's a great thing. It's very important that students do eat during the day, because that does impact how well they can concentrate and learn.
Yes.
Because some of these students start eating lunch at 10-ish, 10:30,
Yes.
something like
Yeah,
that. It
so
becomes a long day if you don't
it
eat
does.
anything.
It does.
So, and that's a great thing. So every student, regardless of your income, gets a free lunch and a free breakfast, as long as you eat, you don't have to eat everything,
Yeah.
but as long as you take the entire selection
Right.
that you're supposed
Yeah,
to
we
take.
have a lot of options. Usually we have 2 entrees, two main course items. Then we'll have 2 vegetables, 2 fruits, somewhere around that for some choice for students to choose. So breakfast is a little more restricted as far as choices, but a lot of times we'll always have cereal out, usually sausage biscuits, waffles, those types of things. So,
And if they want an extra milk or they want an extra whatever, that would cost.
yeah, it will.
But that's the only thing that would cost. Just a regular meal does not cost.
A lot of our schools have share tables, so if a student has a item that is wrapped, such as a milk or a some
Crackers
type
or
of something
something.
that is contained within its own package, they can, if they choose not to eat it, they can put it on the share table. And milk's a hot commodity, so everybody wants an extra milk, a lot of people, so they can set it on that table and others can get it.
Well, that's a wonderful thing for the students in Jefferson
Yes.
County, because regardless of income levels, things are tight for a lot of families, and a lot of people don't qualify for those free meals under normal restrictions.
Right.
But this really helps those families out, and you don't have to worry about your child for getting their lunch money.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a great thing. Buses, are there any difference in the buses this year? Is there anything new on the buses that's going on, or kind of same old standards?
So I do want to remind parents that last year we implemented students in grades 6 through 12. You do not get a warning for misbehavior on the bus. If you're in grades 6 through 12, we expect your behavior. And if you get on there and you do something that is deserves a write-up, you're going to automatically get a bus suspension. So our drivers are wonderful drivers. They've had a lot of training. They don't want to write up a student. That's a lot of extra work to many of them that have to go to a second job. So they have to take their time to bring that into a supervisor or a principal. So it's not easy. So a student has to work to get a write-up from a bus driver. They have to do something that is unsafe to themselves or others on the bus. So we want to keep our buses safe, and we want our students to behave. So we have implemented that. Also, Mr. Overton, our supervisor of transportation, has really worked hard to train 7 new drivers over the summer so that we have full staffed, and we have some sub drivers whenever somebody wakes up sick. Also, 3 years ago we made a transition to where 5th grade students at Newmarket are zoned to go to Rush Strong for middle school. So starting this year, we will no longer provide any bus service from Newmarket to Jefferson Middle School. So that's a change that is in place starting this year.
So if for whatever reason, if your student is going to Jefferson Middle School because they have a brother or sister there or something like that, you will be providing transportation. Okay, so but pretty much we're kind of moving in the same groove.
We are.
And in the vein of buses, you do have cameras on your buses, correct? So parents that are worried about safety, there's a camera on that bus as well.
Yeah, there's multiple cameras on our buses. We have bus radios on our buses. Drivers are not allowed to have their cell phones in their hands, so we are allowed to use two-way communication. We have bus radios in case something happens on a bus, and just like our schools, there's very little space that you can find an area that is not, you're not being filmed. You know, restrooms, locker rooms, that's about the only place that we don't film, or hallways. Also, we don't place cameras in our classrooms. So our hallways or commons areas or gyms, outdoor areas are all filmed.
Those would be places that students might be alone traveling or something like that. They're not going to be alone in the classroom.
That's
They're going to
correct.
be a lot of other children in the classrooms, and as well, you know, in the locker rooms and restrooms for their privacy.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about enrollment. Do you have any idea? Are we kind of running the same numbers? I know tomorrow is really a big day for you all as far as checking in and seeing who you have. But are you expecting kind of a status quo as far as numbers go?
We are. Since COVID, we have seen a steady population of students with slight inclines of enrollment at Jefferson Elementary. Has last year started to see a bump in enrollment finally after 4 or 5 years of decline. Newmarket and Rush Strong have both seen some declines and just not a lot of housing going in those areas. Whereas Talbot, Mount Horeb, Newmarket, Piedmont, and Maury have all seen increases in enrollment over the years from where Hamlin County's moving towards Jefferson County with business, and so is Sevier County moving towards Jefferson County line.
There's been larger housing, what I would consider to be young family housing developments that have gone up in those areas. So one of the new things this year, I think that I guess is kind of a wait and see, you all don't know yet, but our kindergartners are COVID babies.
Yes.
So this is our first year of COVID babies. Are you all expecting a difference? Because, the news in general is expecting a difference
Right.
in COVID, children who are raised in the COVID era.
Right.
Are you expecting that in Jefferson County? And how can parents help you combat that? Because there is a big difference in children pre-COVID and after COVID in just what those children have experienced.
Right. One thing we talked about just with our academics and testing is, somebody mentioned the other day as we talked about our historic scores that came out, and more will come out later, but somebody mentioned we're back to pre-COVID. Well, we've surpassed COVID. We've moved way past that point. So where we were at in 2019, we are way above that now. We saw a short period of time where those students, which I have one of them, they're going into 6th grade now, was a kindergarten COVID student, and it definitely impacted them. I'm not sure where we're at on, students who were birthed to 2 years of age during that COVID time. I've not seen a lot of things published on them, studies, as it was easier to study students who were in school. And so we'll just wait and see. It's no different than any student who has any problems, whether that's large populations that dealt with COVID, or whether it's an individual student who's dealing with a situation at home or inside their own personal feelings. We help and support and deal with them.
So we're just going to wait and see then what this year brings as far as the kindergarten, and it may be absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
One thing I want to touch on is construction, because there seems to be an ongoing misinformation that is going on about construction. So where are the schools that are going to be under construction this year, where your children are going to see construction, especially at the first of the year as they're coming in and doing things? What are those schools? Can you identify those for us and what those kids are going to see?
Sure. So we are finishing up, we just finished up roof work at Mount Horeb, and they have cleared out, gone. Rush Strong and Maury are about 95% complete, 90 to 95% complete. They like a little bit of coating at Rush Strong, and both those schools have metal flashing work that needs to be done. Jefferson Middle School has about 3 weeks remaining of roof work, so depending on the weather, they should be done by the end of this month, August, and that'll be completed. We just signed at Talbot Elementary School. They are getting 4 classroom addition with a bank of boys and girls restroom, a custodial closet, some storage, and a small teacher workroom. So that's an addition to that space. They're also updating the gymnasium and a current set of restrooms that's 70 years old almost, so they're updating those. That work is slated to begin within the next few weeks. We do have a contract with the contractor, Skilled Services, who is waiting on us to issue them a notice to proceed, and we're waiting on some approvals from the State Fire Marshal Office. But that work you'll be seeing around Talbot. As far as Jefferson Elementary School, we are under contract with an architect, Blankenship and Associates. We are under contract with a construction manager, Skanska. Yesterday, Monday, August the 4th, we had our kickoff meeting with the design team, we'll call it. That's the principal of the elementary school, Austin Bridgewater from maintenance, myself, Skanska and Blankenship, and started discussing the first steps of the process. So that was kind of a scheduled timeline thing. So we have to start design work now. That will probably take 3 months or so to get to schematic design, which will require board approval. Then we'll enter into design development, where it goes from a flat piece of paper to a more 3D model of what we're going to be looking at as far as the school, and coming up with cost estimates to see how we are within our budget. We'll move into design development, construction documents, and then bid. So you're looking at least a 7-month process to get to that process of bidding it out, getting a contractor, and then from that contractor's point, kind of lay out how we're going to phase the project. So the ideal situation would be to start laying stuff down right before the end of school and be able to go in there whenever school's out and start taking care of some of the business that needs to happen whenever students are not present in the building.
So to answer parental questions, which have been coming, they're thick on social media, we get some as well. Don't expect any major construction at Jefferson Elementary School this school year.
That's correct.
Don't go in looking for things to be pulled out and being done. But Jefferson Elementary School is perfectly safe as it sits.
Yes, we don't have any. Yes, it's fine.
So the students are not in any kind of jeopardy by being there, and it will. Then you're looking at a best timeline starting next summer.
Yes, that's correct.
And then you'll be talking about how those stages go next year. When we're having this conversation next year, you'll be telling us, well, this is what you're going to be expecting when you come into school. And as far as Talbot goes, because it's an addition, it doesn't affect the interior of the school as much. Is that correct?
That is correct. So the restroom renovation and the gym renovation is interior. We'll schedule those accordingly for breaks, for summer, whatever it may be, so that it doesn't impact instruction or
so it's not going to be the same impact to students that Jefferson Elementary School will be once it starts, because that's an interior renovation, full interior renovation, and so it's going to be more impactful. So we've got that. So let me ask you a question, and I know you're a busy man, and I appreciate you sitting down with us. Tell parents who have returning children and who also have children just new to the system or kindergartners, what can they do in these next 2 weeks or 3 weeks to help their children and help their teachers in this transition time from summer free-for-all to some expectations at school? What needs to happen?
Right. Drive them by the school, bring them to tomorrow, walk around the school, bring them to open house, tell them stories about whenever you were in school, and share things that it's not perfect. There's going to be ups and downs, just like with anything. So let them know that if they have problems or concerns, they can talk to them as parents. They can talk to their teachers. Parents who have issues or concerns, our teachers, our principals, our central office, we're all available to help and support so that our students and parents have the best opportunities for success and the best environment to attend school in. We want them all to be, to love school in general. We know they're not going to love it every day, but we want them to have a happy environment. So
parents, you've heard it. You have a wealth of resources. You can always start with your teacher, your child's teacher, move to the building level, the principal. If you don't feel like you are getting what you need or your questions are not being answered fully, you can always contact the central office. That's correct.
Oh, yes.
They're always here for you at 865-397-3194, and they can certainly send you to the appropriate supervisor. And of course, Dr. Arnold is always here. He's the final leg. Yeah. So, get your kids to bed, get them up, have them eat breakfast at school, let them have a good lunch at school, and start off the school year right. And we certainly appreciate you, Dr. Arnold. We know that it is going to be a busy week. We hope that Jefferson County Schools has a productive and safe school year. We wish that for all the students, the parents. We wish it for the teachers and all the staff, and of course the central office staff. And we would like to thank our sponsors for this video. Dr. Warren Stinson at 113 East Broadway Boulevard. In Jefferson City, Dr. Stinson is a terrific dentist, and he's there for all your dental needs. And Good Old Boys Golf Carts, sales, service, and rentals at 435 Tennessee 92. They have a great website, Facebook page, and a TikTok you need to check out. They're there for all your golf cart needs, and you can always reach either one of those by clicking on their ads in the Jefferson County Post. We appreciate them bringing this to you. And as I said, thank you very much for your time.
Thank
I know
you.
You've got a busy day, and it's a very exciting time.
It is.
It's very exciting. Thank you very much,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Arnold. We'll talk to you soon.